the Fandom Bricks podcast.
Hello everyone, it is that time again. It is the Fandom Bricks podcast. I am one of your co-hosts, the Galaxy of Bricks, and as ever, I am joined by my amazing co-host, who does not need any introduction, but I'm going to allow him to introduce himself, because he always does.
Hi everyone, I'm Sam, better known as Bite Size Bricks, and I am very excited to share the news that this week we are not just a pair, we have got a special guest with us, and I'm sure from all the posts that we've shared online, you already know who it is. And so without any further ado, our special guest this week is Jamie the Brick Educator.
Hello everyone. So thank you so much for the introduction, guys. As I said, my name is Jamie. I run the Brick Educator channel on TikTok and Instagram and YouTube. And guys, I'm so happy to be here and be part of this amazing new podcast. So thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Thank you very much for coming on. Obviously, we're very excited to have you on. We've had just 15 bricks on, and we've got lots and lots of people lined up, but it's really, I think, good for us that we've got someone else to kind of delve into the discussions that we have, and kind of get a different point of view across as well. So we'll get into our main topic soon, but as always, we're going to start with our Lego life stories. So we're just quick discussion about how we've got on with Lego this week, whether we bought anything, built anything, stored anything away. So Jamie, we'll go straight to you. How's your week in Lego been?
So Lego wise, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. So I've been doing a little bit of fake Lego recently, as I'm sure many of you have seen on my TikTok channel. So the old fun hole, which we all love. We all love fun hole. So I finished off the steampunk train station. So that's now currently on display. That's been filmed. That's on YouTube now. So I've done the big review for that. In terms for Lego content, I've been looking into some new minifigures, been building on the Frog collection. So Kermit, the minifigure, has just arrived at my UK address, awesome, along with Throg from the Marvel series Marvel minifigure series. So I've got about 5 frogs left to collect, and then I've got every Lego frog that Lego have done. But unfortunately, the ones that I've got to collect now are the rare ones. So step by step, I will collect them all. But yeah, I've got like the trans green, silver, I think it's the magenta one from the not the bonsai set, the orchid set, and a few others still to go. So that's been my week, mainly collecting frogs and building fake Lego.
Amazing. So anyone listening, if you have any of those frogs, make sure to get in touch with Jamie, because I'm sure he'll very gladly take them off your hands.
I will pay for them. I don't expect them for free. I will send you money for them. It's Bricklink doesn't work here in Bulgaria, so I'm relying on my UK and US fan base and friends to kind of help me out with that one. So
amazing.
Link in the bio. I'll let you know what I need.
I'm hoping someone has some sort of plaque prepared for you for when you complete your set. The Frog
I've got
King.
some pieces ready to build like a throne for frogs. That's what I'm planning to make eventually. So
amazing. Okay, so we'll move on to you, Josh. I know from our conversations that you've had quite a busy week again this week in Lego. So do you want to share what you've been up to?
Yeah, I mean, it seems to be a very recurring theme for when we record the podcast. I say to people that, I'm going to stop myself from buying Lego, and I end up buying lots of Lego, and it kind of just becomes a very repetitive subject. But I was able to pick up a retired Lord of the Rings polybag for a very good price, actually, which, I mean, it's got nothing but a lot of jealousy from a lot of people. They're surprised at how cheaply I got it for. And it was the Urukai with the ballista from the Two Towers, which I posted a video about on my TikTok. I also picked up a retired Lego Star Wars set off eBay, which was pre-owned, and the box is battered and it's open, but everything is bubble wrapped. I need to go through the inventory and check the pieces of that. But obviously, Sam and a couple of people in the WhatsApp group that we are in have seen that, and I posted a video of that on my TikTok as well, and I'm really happy with it. I'm kind of continuing my nostalgia run with my Lego sets. And yesterday, so the time of recording the day before, I also finished and completed the Buzz Lightyear brickhead for somebody who bought it at Brickfest, and I absolutely love it. I think it's such a cute, fun brickhead, and everybody loves Toy Story, myself included. It's one of my favourite Pixar films. So my week started off very expensive, but it's kind of petered out as a very sort of relaxed and level week. What about you, Sam? How has your Lego week gone?
Well, I'll just kind of put a caveat onto your relaxed out, because I know full well that today you went and spent some money on Marvel and Star Wars T-shirts as well. So maybe outside of of Lego, but the spending hasn't stopped.
Yeah, like Lego ban-wise, I'm pretty much having to be very strict on my Lego for the rest of the month. But in terms of like Star Wars and Marvel-based stuff that isn't Lego, I've spent a little bit, but not a lot. So yeah.
Amazing. Okay, well, my week has been quite a slow week. I have had 2 deliveries this week. I say it's a slow week, but I have had 2 deliveries. One of which I'll grab quickly now without like knocking everything over, but I have. Because I forgot that I was going to talk about this. See that there. But my scarf arrived in time for the World Cup, my Lego football scarf, which I'm very excited about. Everybody needs a scarf for the winter. So I've got my Lego scarf, which is very nice. But it also came along with a pick-a-brick order. So I have been building a couple of things that I've mentioned on the pod, but one of the things that I have been building is sort of UCS size Anakin's pod racer. And so I've been working quite hard on that, and I needed a few pieces, lots of repetitive pieces to kind of fill out different parts of it. And the best place to get that was Pick-a-Brick. So I managed to get a Pick-a-Brick order and got my scarf through as well. So I've done little bits onto the pod racer, but not a lot this week. I think at the end of last week, I just built Namor's throne. I think we mentioned that last week on the pod. So I haven't really built anything else this week. It's sort of collecting pieces ready to finish off some builds that I've been working on.
Nice. And the scarf, well, that's a VIP gift that you exchange for points, right?
Yeah, so you can, I think it's quite expensive actually. So normally I use my VIP points for trips to Legoland and things. You get I think it's like 4,000 points and you get a day at Legoland. And I think this was like 3,000 points. So if you kind of equate the cost of a Legoland trip, it's a very expensive scarf. But I thought I'd pick it up in time for the World Cup. Yeah, Josh
very
is
fitting.
saying,
It's very fitting, Sam. So, like you say, and I mean, and it's a very good conversation piece. You can just be there and it's like, oh, where'd you get that scarf from? Funny you should mention that, and then you can just kind of like use it as a really good in for a topic of conversation, mate. So fair enough.
Everyone's favourite topic of conversation, Lego VIP. Everybody's into it. As soon as I talk to anyone at work or anyone outside of our kind of online circle about Lego, I think people kind of zone out a little bit, and that's the end.
Yeah.
That's why we do this. Heads. At least we get an hour a week to discuss it. Okay, so
people that just
yeah. So those are our Lego life stories. I think we've all had quite different Lego weeks this week. So we're going to get into our first main topic. Now, our first main topic is a little bit different this week because we have our special guest on, and we thought that our audience would like to kind of know a little bit more about Jamie. I'm sure that those of you that do know him will know lots of things already, but we kind of wanted to put some questions to Jamie and get to find out a little bit more about Jamie's Lego journey, if that is all right with you, Jamie.
Absolutely.
Okay, so obviously everybody knows you as the brick educator. What I wanted to know initially is, how did you end up working for Lego?
So my official job is not working for Lego. So I'll go back to where it kind of all started with my Lego journey and kind of how I got to where I am now. So in 2014, I started working at Legoland in Windsor. So I started as the education workshop assistant, running the school workshops for trips that came in. So it could be robotics, engineering, English, history, anything you can kind of teach with Lego. I ran those workshops with my wife, Ellie, and then there was another lady called Laura. So it was a team of 3 of us, and we would basically run the education department. In 2015, I then was promoted to team leader. 2016, the education manager. So I then got to look after that entire department, doing the marketing, sales, general running of the day-to-day stuff as well. So I still get to do Lego workshops, but I was mainly actually managing the entire school and group division of Legoland Windsor, which was really good fun. Whilst I was doing that, I was invited to go to Billund, and then I did my Lego education certification. So I did a week's worth of Lego training, and I was basically certified to train teachers how to use Lego in the classroom to engage students with learning. So not only just with Lego education sets, but with learning through play in general. So it's that, how can you engage students that aren't particularly keen on learning by being just talked at? How can they learn with their hands and being more interactive? And especially through Lego was the main kind of push and catalyst for playful learning experiences. Like, we know Lego can be like, it's a powerful learning tool at the best of times. When you add a motor to it and get it moving, you're suddenly learning about engineering, computing, robotics, you name it, you can learn with it. So I did that, and then I've been doing that since, as I mentioned, 2015 I was certified, which brings me up till today. So 2020, me and my wife left the UK to go travelling. Obviously the pandemic happened, travelling was cancelled, and we've been living in Bulgaria because my wife is Bulgarian. We came to see her family before we kind of left for Asia, but the country locked down literally the week we arrived, and we've been here since then. So 2.5 years later, we're still in Bulgaria. During that time, we found a company that was selling Lego education sets, brand new in Bulgaria, still very expensive because of the conversion rate. So Lego don't like to market, or they don't like to lift any sort of conversion fees. They will literally charge the Lego as they would in the UK in other countries. And because the lev, which is the Bulgarian currency, is currently 2.3 lev to the pound, every Lego set becomes twice as expensive because you're being paid on a Bulgarian salary, not a UK salary. So a £50 Lego set suddenly becomes £100. So it's still very small community of Lego, not only Lego collectors, but Lego builders in schools, and just in general, Lego is not really a thing here, which is why you see a lot of third-party Lego bricks, which I've been trying to explore on my channel, showing if you can't afford Lego, this is available at a much cheaper cost, available to you living in different countries. And a lot of people question me, why do I talk about third-party brick construction sets? It's because people can't afford Lego in certain places, and these are alternatives. Yes, they're not Lego, but they're just as good quality, and sometimes better, in my personal opinion, because of what you get. Sometimes they're not better, sometimes they are awful, but sometimes you get some pretty decent ones. So, long story short, we found this company that had just started up, and then I then contacted Lego Education through my previous work at Legoland and said, look, I'm a certified trainer. Do you need help in Bulgaria whilst we're here? Yes, they did. We've been doing Lego Education trainings for 2.5 years. Me and my wife do them together. I'm the certified trainer. Ellie, my wife, she translates everything into Bulgarian because my Bulgarian is very basic at best. There's no way I can run a full professional teacher training in Bulgarian. So we do it together, and we got to travel the entire country, meeting all these amazing teachers that want to improve the face of education in Bulgaria with a passion for Lego, which is fantastic for me because that's where my passion lies. It's Lego bricks, it's learning through play, construction sets, learning with your hands. So that's kind of my journey in a nutshell. So even though I work with Lego Education, I don't actually work for Lego. I'm a freelancer technically, but I work under the Lego Education umbrella, and I work on behalf of them rather than for them. So I can still do social media, I can still do videos, I can still work with non-Lego products because they don't really have much of a say in what I do, because I am my own company, essentially. Even though I work with the brand, I don't work for the brand, which gives me a nice bit of flexibility. And that's basically where I am. That's what I do.
That is amazing. Obviously, I think some people may know this and some people might not, but I am a teacher. I teach in primary education, but my key role is I kind of lead computing across a trust of schools. So across a group of schools, I lead computing. And my big thing at the moment is kind of how can we link computing into more practical things, because so often it is just sat on an iPad or sat on a computer. So how can we make it more practical? So we're introducing things like the robotics, Lego robotics and things at the moment, which obviously for me it's amazing because it means I get to go to work and play with Lego as well, just like you do. And it is the best.
It's so much fun because not only do we enjoy it as teachers, but obviously the students engage straight away because all they think they're doing is playing. But what they're actually doing is learning just through a hands-on experience. And you can often find, like Sam with yourself, if you're passionate about Lego and teaching and learning in a new way, the students notice that and they want to learn because you want to teach them. I think a lot of teachers that I've come across, and from my previous teaching experience as well, is you're very bound to a curriculum and you're bound to getting the students through exams, and they need to get a certain amount of points to pass. But actually what we need to be teaching them is the skills of learning, not just what to learn, but how to learn. And with hands-on subjects like computing and robotics, you can't just tell someone how to do it. They need to experience it themselves. And that's, for me, is the power with Lego learning, is because you don't tell them the answer. They build and play and they share their version of the answer. And what you're then grading is their learning journey. Rather than saying, yes, you're a great builder and what you've made is amazing, what you're actually doing is seeing how they've worked together as a team. What skills have they used? What have they built on their journey? How have they communicated that effectively? And Sam, I'm sure you would agree, like with computing, it's such a difficult subject to teach because, as you said, it's very either tablet-based or computing-based. It's hard to kind of see what they have learned. But through cooperative experiences and working in like collaborative nature, especially when we're building robots and you can kind of see them doing it. Sorry, Josh, for not really including you in this.
Fine. I'm happy to listen, so you guys can.
But yeah, it's just a really interesting way, because children learn through play. That's how we learn as adults, even though we don't always realise it. But that's just fundamental learning. You learn by doing and by being allowed to make mistakes as well. Like Lego, for example, if you build Lego wrong, it's fine. You take it apart, you build it again. Or you go back a couple of steps. When you're an adult, if you make a mistake, it's almost like the end of the world. Like, you can't make a mistake as an adult. Whereas children need to be encouraged to make mistakes in the classroom because there's not really any repercussions. It's like they shouldn't be being told off for doing something wrong because that's how they learn. They learn by making mistakes and doing things again. And for me, that's the power of Lego in the classroom, is it gives you that platform to do that. And Sam, have you started robotics yet with Lego, or is it still quite new in your school?
Yeah, I think, I've kind of started it in a few schools, but I think like you've said, you're doing the teacher training, aren't you? So training teachers on how to kind of deliver this stuff. And that's a lot of what I'm doing at the moment, because I think, like you've just said, teachers have an adult mindset of, if I get something wrong, it's the end of the world. They don't have this mindset of just picking something up and having a go and just trying it. And so a lot of my role at the moment is teaching teachers how to teach computing. And it's not so much kind of delivering it to the children as much anymore, but it's more making sure that all those other teachers are giving the children those opportunities that you were just talking about to just explore things. And especially with computing, the laptop's not going to blow up. Just let them have a play, let them explore these different applications, give them a range of experiences, give them an iPad, tell them to go out and make a short film and see what they come up with. And then we can discuss skills and things afterwards. I think so much of it is about just giving them the experience and giving them the trust to just say, have a go. This is what we're kind of aiming towards. This is our goal, but we're going to have a go. We're going to explore lots of different things first before we start to tighten up on those skills, and then we can move forward then. But like you say, I think that growth mindset of, it's fine. If I get something wrong, that's how I learn. That's how I learn to do it better next time, and we develop on that. And it's something that as adults, I think we kind of get trained out of as we get older.
And I think it's not even so the teachers get not only pressure from the school system in general, but Ofsted. Ofsted's a real dirty word for me, because it's like, I don't understand how
say it in hushed tones.
Ofsted. It's like they have such it's a checklist of how to grade a school, but every student is different and every school is different, so you can't put them all into one classification of this is an excellent school. But just because they might do something different to an excellent school doesn't mean they're not just as good. So yeah, I've got a personal beef with Ofsted. Like, I'm not a big fan of it.
Many teachers
but then
do.
Also for teachers as well. Yeah, and I think you see it on the inside, because it just makes that the teachers' hard work that they put into their daily troubles and long hours that they're doing. My cousins are all teachers, so I've seen it firsthand as well. And it's like they're not given the room to just be playful and explore things. And it not only comes from teaching, but not only Ofsted, but also parents as well. Because if the parents don't understand what the teachers are trying to do something new with Lego, for example, then they will then suddenly have another body of group of angry people saying, why are you teaching my children how to build Lego? And it's like, we're not teaching them how to build Lego. You're teaching them the skills of life through Lego. So learning how to talk to one another, learning how to deal with problems and how to deal with challenges that you don't know how to deal with firsthand. But yeah, I could talk about it for hours and I won't bore you too much with it tonight, but
maybe one day we'll just do a teacher talk episode.
Right.
But I think
it's difficult.
I think just very quickly adding on that, you say pressures from parents. Since COVID, that pressure has just gone through the roof, because through COVID, you had to have all these different ways of communicating, because you can't just catch people at the end of the day and you can't just discuss children on a daily basis. And so emails and things start coming through. And nowadays it is just my emails I feel like I could do a whole day worth of just responding to emails before I even get into the classroom. And so there, like you say, there are pressures everywhere. And I think it is key to kind of communicate why you're doing something to the parents so that they understand. But no, I think obviously what you're doing is amazing, and especially from a teacher point of view, it's so important for the kids to have those opportunities. So yeah, I think it's amazing, and it sounds incredible being able to kind of go over to Bulgaria and kind of start that afresh over there as well, which is really cool.
It's certainly been a journey. It's been difficult at times because the teachers here, a lot of them are from like an older generation of teaching, where it's very much, I tell you the facts, you write them down, you put them in the exam, you get the check, you get the points, well done. There's a whole new generation of younger teachers that are doing the same as that we are doing. It's more about now skills and what are you going to need to go into adulthood. But yeah, it's a real mixed bag. Sometimes it really is great to find older teachers, as long as they're happy to change and to try something different. Sometimes they're like, no, this isn't for me. I don't want to use it. And it's like, okay, fine. Your students will, but if I can't convince you in the next couple of days of training that it still won't work, then I'm sorry, I can't help. But if you want help, I'm here for you. And yeah, I'm sure it's the same in the UK. It's not just Bulgarian teachers. It's like it's an expensive product that puts people off. It's something new. If they don't understand it themselves, that also terrifies a lot of people because they just don't understand how they could then teach it. But the biggest thing that we say at the end of every training is, if you don't understand it, play with it. And that scares a lot of people because they don't want to be seen as not knowing something in the classroom. Where it's like, well, if you play with the students and learn at the same time, then everyone learns something. But that's a very different way of teaching that we really want to push. But it's not what you're taught at university. It's not what you're taught at teacher training. So we get it. It's a different way of thinking, and step by step we'll get that.
It's very difficult to kind of change those mindsets with some teachers, but you keep trying to push it. Okay, Josh, I think we kind of covered the next question there, so I'll kind of skip onto the one after.
Yeah.
Jamie, we've kind of seen you mention in some of your videos before that your kind of goal is to eventually become a full-time content creator, and that's something that you kind of aspire to. So what is kind of the plan moving forward? I know we kind of had a very quick conversation before we started recording, but what is your kind of plan with your channel and other things moving forward to kind of achieve that goal?
Fabulous question, because I honestly have no idea. My social channel very much started as a way to connect with the community during the pandemic. I started on Instagram. I started just sharing photos of Lego builds and then how you can use it to teach your students something. So it could be a Lego model of a castle, and this is what you can then teach in history. So you can use this picture and then inspire your students to learn through Lego. And that's where it all started. And then it wasn't until about a year and a half ago I kind of dabbled in TikTok a little bit on my own personal channel, shared some robotics, shared some things I'd done before. And then I kind of went, it's not really for me, TikTok. It was still early days just after it, from Musical.ly to TikTok. So it was still a lot of just teenagers dancing. I was like, it's not for me. And then 2020 pandemic, well, it was actually towards the end of the year, I then started on TikTok because I suddenly found a lot of people had a lot of time on their hands, apparently. There was this whole global problem going on. And everyone was then started sharing their Lego. And it's like what they're doing with their Lego. But because I didn't have Lego with me, because all my Lego's still in the UK, I've got a few sets in Bulgaria, but nothing really here. I was like, well, what can I do for the Lego community that I can then talk about? And for me, it was the knowledge of what Lego is and where it came from and like the Easter eggs and all that sort of stuff that I'm a massive nerd for. My Lego collection, I have about 40 Lego sets, if that. Like, I have a very small Lego collection for a Lego TikToker, a Lego social media person. And so for me, it was like, well, what can I do that's a bit different? And I was very fortunate at the time that on TikTok, no one was really talking about the history of Lego or what they do as a company and all this sort of stuff. On YouTube was filled with content creators like this. So Just Too Good is a big inspiration of mine. He's got a big knowledge of Lego. And then you've got M&S Productions. You've also got, I think it's called Science Bricks or Tech Bricks, but they do some really cool like Lego experiments with Lego sets and science experiments. And then you've got JK Brickworks, which is like, for me, is like a god of Lego construction because his robotics is insane. And if I could be one like making robots like him one day, I'd be a very happy boy. But my knowledge of engineering is not on that level. So that's where it all started from. So to kind of showcase what you can do with Lego in the classroom. And then TikTok was about sharing my knowledge and history of the brick and Lego. So going forward, I kind of see my channel as more of like a base of inspiration for other creators to start making videos. Because there's only so much Lego history out there. Like, I kind of feel like for what I want to share, I've spoken about it already on the channel. And I don't want to then start rehashing content because I'm bored of my own videos, basically. So minifigures and new sets that are coming out, but then I know we've spoken just before, but obviously going traveling in the next couple of months, my channel is going to be a bit dead. I'm not going to be creating content really. So I've been able to manage this to build this amazing audience, which I'm so grateful for. Like 160,000 people as of today I never thought I would get to that level, just talking about Lego, like without a big Lego collection, but just sharing what I know. I am so grateful for the comments, interactions, everything. So you guys especially inviting me onto the podcast today. It's like, I'm just a bit of a Lego nerd and I never thought I'd get the audience that I did. And I want to be able to then use that to do some good with it. So if I can inspire people to get their Lego collection out, if they haven't built for a while, to film it, to make some content, and if they don't have a big audience, share it on my channel that does have an audience so they can then create content to then share with the AFOL community. Because it's, as I said, it's a community. Like AFOLs, it's all about being part of this group of like-minded people. Like, we all love Lego for many different reasons. And some of us have been lucky with social media, and some people are just like, the videos don't take off because the algorithm, as we know, is a nightmare sometimes. Like, some videos work, some don't. And I've seen some amazing videos and they've only got a couple of thousand followers. And it's like, well, you're just not being lucky with the algorithm. Doesn't mean your builds aren't good, but it's just the way of TikTok, unfortunately. So if I can help those videos get out there and build their audience by pushing them over to their new accounts, then that's where I see my account go. Obviously, I still want to share my own stuff. I love creating videos. That's why I do it. I love making stupid videos of like minifigures and like interacting with Josh, for example, and saying he's my twin, like, clone, and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, if I can use it as more of a platform to get people into just building, not even becoming social media people, but if you've created something, like I posted a video, I'm not sure when this is going to be released particularly, but Monday night, I've posted a video of this Smaug build, which is like a big articulated head, which looks insane. And more news on that coming, because I've been speaking with the creator for it and he's got some exciting plans. But it's like, he's not on TikTok, he's only on Instagram. And he's got a couple of thousand followers on Instagram. But if you're not on Insta, you're not going to see it if you're on TikTok. And it's like, well, let's show it off on here because why not? And it's like, yeah, so long story short, sorry for waffling on. I have a real bad tendency to do this. I want my channel to become more of a community. And yes, I've applied for the Lego community platform ambassador thing. They've said no twice. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I'll just do my own thing. I don't need Lego's approval. I'll just do it by myself. So, Yeah, so hopefully it will be that sort of number one place you go to on TikTok if you want to see builds from the community. That's my ultimate goal. That's what I'd love.
That's awesome. I think it's really cool that you kind of notice that you have this massive platform, and that instead of thinking, oh, I'm going to build on that platform, it's I want to share other people's work, and I kind of want to get as many people into it as possible. And I think that's we've discussed it before, that's always been our view on it, on things like likes and followers, and we've both been through kind of slumps where, and I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago, where I started to think about, well, why am I now getting less views or less likes on something? And then it's kind of reassessing and going, actually, why am I doing this in the first place? I'm doing this because I like making videos and I like talking about Lego. So let's get back to that and get back to just sharing as much as possible of stuff that you love. And I think that's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah. And I think, as I said, we've all been there. It's like you get a video that just pops, and then the next couple of weeks, it just nothing happens, and it's like, why? And I've always said to myself, I'm not bothered about the numbers, but I wouldn't be on TikTok if I wasn't a little bit bothered about the numbers, because you want to be able to share things and know that it's doing something. Like, it's not for me about the creator fund. It's not about turning it into a job. I just want to know that I'm putting time into something that is doing something good for the community. And when, for whatever reason, the video doesn't get many views, I'm always a bit like, oh, that's a shame, because I enjoyed making it, and I'm now a bit put off that someone else can't now enjoy it because the app is the app. I'm not bothered that it didn't get the views based on someone else's views. It's just, oh, okay, well, that meant that someone didn't see it. And that's what bothers me a little bit, because it's like, but it's difficult with social media, because we're all a tiny bit, I don't want to say the word egotistical, because it's not that's too strong of a word, but we make the videos not only for ourselves, but also for the enjoyment of others. And when you know someone isn't enjoying it because of whatever reason, it does put you off a little bit.
Yeah, it's kind of like getting a sense of pride, isn't it, when you upload something to TikTok or Instagram and, you know, people like it and their response to it is fantastic. You get a sense of pride because you're putting your time and effort into that and people are enjoying it. And then, like you say, when it doesn't get maybe the response you want due to the algorithm or other factors, it may seem a little bit deflating because you're putting in this much time and effort for it, but you're maybe not getting the kind of avenues and audience that you want it to reach just because of the way it works. So it makes perfect sense, really. Yeah.
And it's like, I always say to people, it's like, don't, especially with TikTok, don't do it for the views and the following. It's like, because you're going to just end up disappointed. It's the problem is, it's very much do as I say, not as I do, because I say this to people, but then I get caught in my own head with the numbers, because it's like, oh, okay, well, that's just the way it is. But if you're a new TikToker, just keep posting. Just because some videos don't go, don't stop creating content just because the numbers aren't doing well, because one day it will, and that's just the way the app works. So yeah. But again, I could waffle on about TikTok for hours, which I won't do tonight.
Something stuck with me there, because you were talking about when you kind of joined initially, and it was just teenagers doing silly dances. I think I've told this story before, but I'll do it really quickly. That the reason why I joined TikTok was because someone in my class had told me that it's not just teenagers doing dances, because someone had mentioned it to me before and I had kind of dismissed it straight away as no, like, I'm not going to get on there and like hold my Lego sets and start dancing. And one of the girls in my class turned around, they were like, oh, Mr. Thomas, have you been are you on TikTok? And I was like, no, why would I be on TikTok? And they're like, oh, there's loads of Lego on there, there's loads of people doing Lego. And so then I kind of went home that night and downloaded it and started scrolling. And I was like, oh my god, there is actually loads of Lego on here. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll just record myself building a set. And I did that and just spiraled out of control from there.
And now we're here. So when did you guys start TikTok? Was it pandemic time? Was it in the last year or so? Because I know I've only really found you guys recently.
I guess, yeah, okay. I guess I'll answer that one, because in terms of timeline and stuff, I'm still relatively new to this. I mean, I've been doing this for less than 12 months. You know, January 2023 will be my 1 year TikTok anniversary. So since I started posting regularly on TikTok and I started posting content, I've been doing it in less than 12 months, and I was able to recently achieved my goal, which was 1,000 likes before my 1 year anniversary. And as of today, I've reached over 12,200 likes across all my videos, which for me, I'm one of those small content creators who I post the stuff that I love, whether it gets engagement or not. It doesn't bother me. I do it because I love it, and I know that my journey as a content creator has been very up and down. When I first started doing TikTok, I kind of used it to promote my YouTube channel, but obviously TikTok doesn't like you to go away from TikTok. Yeah, so obviously, and then when I noticed things like that and the engagement was very low, I kind of changed up my content and things like that. And TikTok as a whole has allowed me as a creator to grow. It's allowed me to be very creative, and it's kind of become something that I never anticipated would become a day-to-day thing in my life, but it is now very much a consistent day-to-day thing. And I have been quite fortunate, really, because I've been able to engage with some absolutely amazing content creators. I mean, obviously, Jamie, you and I joke about how you and I look very similar, and people always say, "Oh, you're the brick educator. Oh, you're the Galaxy of Bricks," and things like that. So that always makes me laugh. But to be compared to somebody like you, who, when I first started doing TikTok and I first started doing that, I had a bit of a strange goal, and it was I had a list of content creators that I would love to have done a collaboration with or engage with and do videos with. And then when I started my late night Lego, which, I mean, people love late night Lego when I do come on and do it, and it's a good platform for results, a bit like this.
Where is it from? That's what I want to know. Why is it not
to
been
be fair,
for?
like, my day job has kind of taken a bit of overtaken me a lot more. And I think what I love about late night Lego is it's a very sporadic thing. You don't know when it's going to happen, but when it does happen, everybody jumps on the bandwagon. And doing late night Lego means I have been able to not only get, I wouldn't say a diehard and cult following, but I've got a lot of people who are asking, where's Late Night Lego? Where's it gone? Why hasn't Galaxy of Bricks here? But also, it's meant that all the people in Lego Talk that I've been inspired by and I've loved their content, I've got to interact with them. I mean, obviously, you and I, Sam, we talk on a regular basis because you were one of the first people that I collaborated with when I started doing this, and we kind of became friends through that. And then obviously, Just 15 Bricks, Seamus, who we've had on the pod. You've got people like Michael Bishop, the all-time Yashin, Pod Bricks, Bricksborough, people like that who we all, and people who we all see on our TikToks day to day. I've got to become friends with these people, and it's nice to know that TikTok has become not just a hobby and a place to kind of post your content. It's very much what you said, Jamie. It's a place for community. You become a small community. And I myself am grateful that TikTok has allowed me as a content creator to interact with these people. And I mean, Brickfest, I got to meet some of the people that I've been talking to on a computer screen and a phone screen for like the last 12 months. So it's nice. And for me, the last 12 months have been interesting, and I'm glad that I've done TikTok, because I wouldn't be where I am as a content creator without that random chance to engage on TikTok. And I look at my earlier videos and I look at my videos now and I think, wow, I certainly have come a really, really long way since then. So for me, TikTok has been nothing but fun, really.
Definitely.
How about you, Sam?
Yeah, so I mean, I guess, I don't know if you call it a late adopter, but pandemic for me was more about drawing. So prior to teaching, I did a degree in digital art. So that's kind of where my skill set lies, outside of doing this, I guess. And so I set up a channel. So if anybody wants to watch me draw cartoons badly on YouTube, I set up a channel on YouTube called Digital Doodles. And the idea behind that was that I was kind of doing draw along videos that I would then do with my class during pandemic. Because those of you that don't know, during the pandemic, schools were still open and I was still working full time. And so the kids would come in and we'd start off the day by drawing together. And so I started recording videos. And so that was kind of my introduction to, I guess, creating social media platform for myself. And then when pandemic kind of slowed down and I'd realized I'd accumulated a lot of Lego through the pandemic, that's when I started to think about joining TikTok. So it was only in March this year that I posted my first TikTok. So I'm still way away from my my year anniversary. But yeah, I think the same as Josh. I think it's one of those things that I enjoyed at the start, but it's kind of the community that's built around it that's kept me wanting to continue producing things, doing things like this. I mean, I think the podcast was first mentioned months and months ago between myself and Josh, that it was something that eventually we'd like to kind of get into. Because for me, it's more about meeting like-minded people and talking to like-minded people about the things that we enjoy doing. It's almost that the TikTok comes at the actual creating the videos is a secondary to viewing other people's and being inspired by other people's work, seeing what everybody else is getting up to. That's the big thing that kind of keeps me going with it, which is cool. I really enjoy it.
And I completely agree with videos are that secondary platform, and it's like the videos bring in new people, but what you've created is the community of like friends and family that just love sharing with each other. And yeah, I kind of almost wish that TikTok, obviously there's that Discord and things like that, but I'm an old man now, I can't get my head around Discord. But for me, TikTok's just the way to kind of see what people are building, what are they up to, jump on a live, have a chat, do podcasts like this. And yeah, I'm very, very grateful for the platform.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we've got one more. Josh, have you got one more question to go for this one, and then we can move on to
to be honest with you, Jamie must have a sixth sense, because he's kind of covered a lot of the topics that we were going to answer. He's answered very candidly and very honestly. And I would say, obviously, Jamie, you mentioned it yourself. You've got like 160,000 followers on TikTok and things like that. You are. We all know you. You are one of the main people that always appears on our FYPs, and obviously you've mentioned what you've mentioned what your kind of your goal is with your channel and things like that. What advice would you offer to people who maybe are looking at going into, say, becoming content creators, or they're interested in doing, obviously, like you said, you're a freelancer of sorts for Lego, so you're not actually officially a Lego employee, but you have had experience with Lego. What advice would you offer to people who are interested in maybe pursuing something like that, or getting into TikTok, or maybe just sharing their content?
It's a fab question. I think with Lego particularly, it's just knowing the brand values is key if you want to work for Lego. So you have to be passionate about, obviously, the brand and knowing what their goals are. So for me, it's about creativity and learning. So that's kind of my area of Lego. If you want to become like a Lego designer, it's about looking at things in a new way. So the designers they've been creating Lego sets. They know what they're doing. That works for them. But what Lego are always looking for is the next new thing. So if you can be creating something that Lego haven't already done, that's going to get you a real good place within the Lego company, because they want innovation, they want a fresh idea. And as long as you're passionate about it and you know that that's what you want to do, that's going to really get you on a good place if you want to work for the Lego company particularly. In terms of social media, again, the same. It's kind of find something that you're passionate about and just go for it. If you're doing it to appease the app, the audience will know. The audience will know you're trying to do it to get likes and to get interactions. And you will burn yourself out trying to chase the algorithm. Because videos, as we've said already, some pop, some don't. And that's just how social media is. You can't get guaranteed views even if you're posting very similar content. And then finding a niche is really important. Well, at least it was for me. Like finding something that wasn't already being talked about, but people wanted to hear about. Whereas if you, I know a lot of creators, especially like Lego creators, they have amazing Lego cities, but they're not quite sure how to show it in a new way. So it's about finding a creative way to show it rather than just filming, this is my collection, because it's like, one, people will be like, that's amazing. And two, people will be like, I will never achieve that, so I'm not interested in watching it. So it's about showing how you can get there by not having a unlimited supply of A, Lego, B, cash to buy it in the first place. So showing that you can create content with the Lego that you have already is very important, because it doesn't then make the bar too high that you can't reach, but it makes it enough so you can inspire to get there one day. That's especially with Lego TikTok especially. I think if TikTok social social media in general, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, whatever. It's just back to that, find your passion and just go for it. If people sense your passion, they will follow and they will comment and like it. And if they can see that you want to then create content, then you will continue to do well. It doesn't work for everyone, and that's unfortunately video creation and content creation in the first place, but just go for it. And that's it is. Bit rubbish advice, but that's all I can say. It's like, that's what I did, and that's what you guys did as well. It's like, you just you try it one day and then just keep at it. That's all I can say with it. That's what
Perfect. Thank you, Jamie, because obviously, again, it's always handy to have the experiences of people who've been doing this for a long time. And obviously, like you say, finding your niche is important, making and creating content that you love as much as you think other people will love. Because if you like your content, other people will just be enthused by your passion for it. So I think that's a very good question to sort of end with. And I think your response is the perfect way to move on to our next topic.
I've wanted to discuss this for a while, but why Lego? Why do we love Lego so much? Why do we always kind of come back to Lego? I know that for myself, in certain parts of my life, it's kind of always been there, and I've always come back to Lego. And certainly, I think, along with most people, certainly in the community that I've talked to, the pandemic was a big factor within that, but I know that that's not the case with everyone. So, Josh, I think we'll start with you this time. Why Lego, and why do you love it so much?
I mean, yeah, like I mean, we all talked about it. We all have like a dark age where you love Lego, you play with Lego, you're creating Lego, and then you kind of like things, you grow up, you move on, and then you, as you rightfully said, you don't move away from it. You kind of just, it's there, but then it just takes something to reignite it. And for me, 2014 was when I got back into Lego again, and I've been doing it ever since. And I think Lego is such a good thing because obviously, we talk about the price of Lego and obviously, inflation and things like that. And as Jamie rightfully said, in certain parts of the world, Lego isn't freely accessible because of the price and things like that. But I would say it's not even just Lego, it's the bricks as a whole, like creative construction bricks. I think it's good because for some people, it's a form of therapy. It's a way of kind of putting a really good outlet into something that isn't technology based. And obviously, you've got iPads, you've got tablets, you've got laptops. There's something about Lego, just the satisfaction of sitting there with a pack of bricks or a set, building it, reading the instructions. I mean, I'm a sucker for instructions as opposed to online stuff. So for me, just sitting there, building something and then seeing the time that you've put into it as a build, and you can put it on display somewhere in your house and you can just enjoy it. I think it's that creativity and it's that way to just positively, I hope, use it as an outlet for all your stresses. Because if you're feeling like you're having a bad day, I can just open up a Lego set, build something, get the satisfaction of building it, and time just flies when you're building. So for me, it's a nice, constructive way to divert your energies. People have ways to do that, and I think Lego for me is one of the perfect ways to just put your energies into something positive, and you can see how it inspires people. And I think, having been a Lego fan my whole life, even though I had a brief period where I didn't collect Lego, I didn't have any Lego, but then I've gotten back into it. It's kind of like, the only way I can describe it is, it's having something there that once you have it and it is there in your life, you never want to let it go because it has brought you so much joy. Because, I mean, I myself personally, I have met somebody in my life who has never been into Lego. And, I've spoken to people who have never been into Lego. But when I tell them that I do Lego TikTok, they're really interested. And some of them obviously, have found my TikTok. And like you said, Sam, people are like, oh, you should do Lego TikTok. That was the same with me. People have found that and they've been really interested. So it's kind of getting people who aren't into it thinking, oh, there's something there that I like. I would give that a go. And I think it's just the creative side of it as well that I love about TikTok. I don't know about you guys, but for me, inspiration, creativity, and just a positive outlet, what I love about Lego.
Amazing. Yeah, I think we could probably both echo a lot of those sentiments as well. But yeah, I think, like you say, it's you kind of circle back to it constantly and you go through that dark age, but it's that love of Lego that kind of keeps you going. I think for myself, I would be remiss if I didn't do this, but this right here, it's not complete, but these are the first ever bricks. Actually, like this plate here is the first ever brick that I would have taken out of a bag and started to put together. These are the exact bricks that I found at my parents' house about 20
Wow.
years after I first got it. But this is the first ever Lego set that I ever owned, and it was Anakin's Pod Racer. It's why I have such an affinity to pod racers, and even now I've circled all the way back because I'm now trying to build an even bigger one. But I think my initial love of Lego came through Star Wars. I think I was about 10 years old when The Phantom Menace came out, and so having already watched the original trilogy, it was just such a huge part of my life. It was my gran, actually, and I know that Josh, you've talked about your nan before and how she's kind of inspired parts of your Lego journey as well, but my gran was a massive Star Wars fan, and I used to go to her house and just kind of sit in the room and put on Return of the Jedi over and over again. And as soon as they brought out Star Wars Lego sets, that was me hooked completely. And it's really nice. For me, it's kind of always been there, especially as a teacher as well. That's what kind of drew me back into it. I think those years of going off to uni and trying to believe that I was becoming an adult and moving out and doing all these different things, and then actually realizing I'm still a child really, and going back to school as a teacher and seeing in every classroom you have a box. Over in the UK anyway, I know that you've kind of said it's a little bit different in Bulgaria, but in every UK classroom you will almost always find either a box of Lego or a box of Connects or some sort of construction toy that you can kind of get involved with and start playing with. And it was wet play times when it's raining outside and the kids can't go out. I'd sit down, we'd get the Lego box out and I'd start creating, and it was that creative side that kind of drew me back in. Start creating things, and then the kids in the class, "Oh, Mr. Thomas, you're actually quite good at this. You're quite good at putting these together." Yeah, thanks very much. It's always good to get approval from like 8-year-olds on Lego. I think they're the hardest ones to please. And so it was sort of around the same time as Josh. I think it was 2013. We discussed it last week that I started collecting sets again. I started getting small sets. And again, it was linked back to my childhood. So I started getting a few little Star Wars Lego sets, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Lego sets. And it's all that kind of nostalgia linked to Lego. And that's where the collecting side of it started to kick in. And it's only really been after we've just discussed it about reevaluating why I'm doing this. And because as Jamie said, part of my journey as a Lego TikToker has been almost showing off showing off things that I have. And initially, it wasn't to do that. Initially, it was just, here's a cool set. What do you think of this set? And trying to get that discussion going. But after kind of reevaluating it and looking back, it felt like it was I have this, and I have this, and I have this. And I didn't want to be that person. I didn't want to kind of share in that way. And so it's kind of circled back again. And I know that after I kind of discussed it with Josh, that a lot of my Lego buys recently have not been sets. I haven't bought a lot of sets recently. I've been doing my Bricklink orders and my Pick-a-Brick orders, and I've been going on Facebook Marketplace and finding Lego bundles, and I've circled all the way back to being a kid and just kind of creating stuff, getting any kinds of bricks and trying to come up with things myself. And obviously there's lots of Star Wars influences in certain things that I'm building, but like Jamie said, I'm trying to do things differently. I'm trying to create things that I haven't seen before, and going to Brickfest the other week was amazing to kind of see these incredible creators and what they're putting together. And that was the big takeaway for me. There were so many sets that there was one, and we've talked about this, one guy that built these kind of tiny huts. So we had like Jabba the Hutt, but all the other huts. But I'd never seen bricks put together in that way before. And for me, that was like mind blown kind of moment of like, there are still ways that people can be innovative with these same bricks that have been around for 90 years, and people are still finding new ways of putting them together and different. And it was such a good inspiration. As soon as we came back from Brickfest, I was like, right, I'm digging out like my unsorted drawers, and I'm going to start putting stuff together. It's not like I'm going to go over to my drawers, they're all sorted and all my perfect little pieces. It was like, I just want a bundle of Lego and see what I can put together after this. So that for me, it's that full circle of going back to just being creative and enjoying that time. And like I said earlier, that for me for a good 10-year period in my life was drawing, and it was just, that was my outlet of being creative. And now I've kind of refound Lego and rediscovered Lego, and that's my outlet now of being creative, of doing that and kind of the videos alongside of it. So for me, it's having that part of my life that has always been there, the kind of creating things, building things, making things. It's been there throughout my life, and it's just kind of shown itself in different ways. And now it's circled back round to Lego, and it is just it's an outlet that I know that I couldn't live without. I have to have some sort of creative outlet. I have to have that downtime to myself where I kind of put it into something and create something. And so having Lego back as that thing is good fun.
Yeah.
Really, really enjoying it. So
that's good, mate.
Yeah,
that's nice.
That's been my journey with it. So what about you then, Jamie?
So I never had Lego when I was younger. I had Connects. So Connects was my thing. I loved construction kits and I loved things that moved. So I had the big Ferris wheel, I had the roller coaster. I loved things that you could make and then it would do something. My brother had a bit of Lego. So my younger brother, he had like the original Phantom Menace line and then a bit of Harry Potter. But he didn't really do much of it. It would be he'd build it and then it would go into a big box and then just sit there. So we grew up. The boxes went to a boot sale. Never saw them again. I looking back from what was in that box, there was a lot of Lego in there, and yeah, we sold it for like 20 quid at boot fair, and I still have nightmares knowing that was a yes. Long story short, that was a very good deal for whoever bought it on that day. So then fast forward to 2014, started working at Legoland. That's where my Lego journey really began. So I didn't really have a dark age because I never had a golden age for Lego. Now is my golden age, I'd probably say. But for me, why Lego compared to any other toy? One school workshop will stick with me for the rest of my life. It was a special needs school that came in and we were doing a Lego therapy session, which is essentially you build a Lego set in a group of 3, you get a builder, a supplier and a architect. Every student has a different role. One person has the instructions, one finds the bricks and one puts it all together. They use their communication and they talk to each other and they put it together and build a very simple Lego creator set. I love that workshop. I do it with adults, I do it with children, I do it as team building. It's great. It's easy, affordable, tick. Now, this one school that came in, one of the girls she was by herself. They didn't calculate the group size right, and I basically said, "Well, it's fine. You guys crack on. I'll sit with this young girl, and I'll build with her, and we'll do it as a pair." And so we were cracking on, building the model, chatting away about my Lego collection, her Lego collection. Lovely. At the end of the session, the teachers came up to me and they were like, "How was she communicating with you?" I was like, "Yeah, absolutely fine." We were chatting away, building, and it turns out she was a selective mute. She doesn't talk to anyone in her school. Like she speaks with her parents, a couple of teachers, but no one else. Like she doesn't talk with any students. And I was like, what was it then that made her talk to me? And it was her love of Lego and being able to share that passion with someone else to talk to about it that she didn't have any. And I was like, okay, this is why I love Lego, because you can open up conversations and you can open up people to talk about what they love on a plastic brick, and it's like, okay, this has power. And that's why I do what I do on social media, knowing that you can just talk about something that you love and it will hopefully inspire someone to do the same. So yeah, that's why Lego for me, and it will always be that. That was an amazing moment.
Oh, that probably just got me
amazing.
in the feels there. I'm not going to lie to you. Like that is actually, I'm actually getting a bit emotional thinking about that.
Every time I tell the story, I get emotional about it because it's like it was incredible to experience that firsthand and be the cause of that. So, well, I say the cause. I wasn't the cause. I was just a communication device for her, but the cause was Lego. And it's like, yeah, that's why. That's why
nice, mate. That's nice.
Absolutely. Okay, what a way to finish that section off then. Great story. Okay, so we are moving on to our Q&As. So I've got 3 questions for us. And again, we have touched on this. And so I kind of brought it up with Josh last week. So I'm very interested to get his thoughts on this as well. But from at Lego Loop, the question was everyone's thoughts on alternative Lego. So Josh, I'm going to go to Josh first.
I mean, it's kind of ironic that this topic has come up because of who our guest is, and I
think that's why the question was asked.
Yeah, to be fair, they saw the writing on the wall. I mean, obviously, Jamie, we know you as the brick educator, and of course, it doesn't actually say exclusively it's the Lego bricks. that you educate people on. It's bricks as a whole. And I mean, when you kind of gave us a little bit of a backstory into this whole thing in obviously, Bulgaria, and how things are a little bit different there. Lego is an expensive commodity. It's a luxury, of sorts when you base it on the currency of things like that, and how you promote alternative things that aren't Lego but are Lego-esque. They're inspired by Lego. I think that's nice. And I myself personally, I know, please don't, hate me in the comment section for any of this, or get in touch with me and hit me with pitchforks and things like that. But I know there are some people who are very Lego is the only thing. They're very much Lego or nothing. And there are those people who, you mention things like Mega Constructs, you mention things like, Blue Bricks and, things like that. Other companies,
Funhole,
Funhole as well. Other things that aren't Lego, and they're not interested. But I think if it's for people, especially who can't afford Lego, and for people who are able to still be inspired by the same sort of thing, even if it isn't Lego based, I don't have an issue with it. I think if it still breeds the same creativity, if it still inspires people, and it inspires, say, the future engineers, the future architects, and just the creative people of the next generation, I don't have an issue with alternate builds. And I get that Lego isn't something that everyone can afford. So for me, if it doesn't promote itself as Lego and people know that, I don't have an issue with it. It's when you start to promote these alternative builds and these alternative themes and options as Lego when they're not, that I take exception.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested to get your thoughts on that, Jamie.
Yeah, no, I agree with Josh. I think as long as they don't advertise themselves as Lego bricks, I have no problem at all. I stay well clear of Lego clones. So Lepin, I don't touch. I don't touch the Chinese ones that create things like the bonsai trees, just in alternate ways. TikTok shop is filled with a lot of clone Lego sets at the moment, so there's a lot of things. There's also a lot of unique designs, which are good. I like them, but they advertise themselves as Lego, which I'm not happy with. I like the fact that Funhole, I can't say the name, I'm laughing. I like the fact that I'm doing reviews for them. I love their sets, but the name choice is ridiculous. So the fact that they say they are a brick construction set, they are unique in design, they include light kits. It's a new theme, like the one I'm doing at the moment is steampunk, and Lego haven't done steampunk, so it's a win for me. And it's still creative. It still allows people to express themselves with plastic building bricks at half the cost. For me, is a win. Now, as Josh said, if they start to then say this is a Lego brick or it's a Lego quality, then I don't quite gel with that. And like fake minifigures, I'm not a big fan of. Like when they try and just recreate a minifigure, like do a brick set. Don't then try and be Lego. Do your own thing. I'm happy with that. Which is why they're the only company I work with at the moment, because everyone else out there just tends to be like Ninja or Chim, which is the latest one I've seen. So not Chima, just Chim. And it's like, no, this is not good. Especially here in Bulgaria, there's a lot of Lego knockoffs that are just like Nexo Knights, but they just call themselves Next Knights and stuff like that. And it's just, well, you're just taking Lego designs and just making it cheap. And the quality is not as good. The clutch power is naff. The minifigures are all floppy. And it's like, no, they're not good. But I like the ones that create their own stuff. So that's why as I said before, but that's why I promote them, because it's affordable for countries like Bulgaria where Lego is super expensive. And it's something new, like even for you guys like in the UK, like they come with lighting. It's a new theme. Give it a go. They are Lego compatible, even though they don't say they are, which I also like. I like the fact they're not trying to sell it saying, oh, add it to your Lego collection. It's like, no, we're doing our own thing. And it's like, there you go. So yeah, I would always say, give it a go. If you don't like it, don't buy it again. It's fine. You're not going to lose anything by not buying it.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're in a slightly different kind of position being in England, and there are not many other sets or knockoff sets readily available, or you're not going to go into like a Smith's, let's say, and see knockoff Lego. So it's a little bit different. And so what I was going to say is that to get things like the knockoff Lepin and things, that you have to go looking for that sort of stuff. You're going to go onto things like AliExpress or Wish or wherever you get your Chinese products from. one of those websites. And so I do feel like at the moment I'm a little bit conflicted both ways, especially since August and the price hikes in Lego. It's a really tricky subject, because I do think that there are some sets out there that people probably look at and think, I would really like that set, but there's no way at the moment that I can afford or kind of get around my head that I'm going to be spending that much money on that when I'm struggling to pay bills or struggling to have food every night, because there are so many families and Lego is pricing themselves. I know that it's not, I think worldwide people are struggling, but I know that in this country at the moment, there's a lot of people struggling, and Lego are pricing themselves out of a whole group or large group of people in this country at the moment. And so my stance on it has changed a little bit. It's not something that I want to do or that I will be doing, but I can understand why there might be a large group of people that would want to go and buy, let's say, ATT or something. If it's half the price, you're going to get it from Lego, and you're getting it for a child that's going to be playing with it, and it might get bashed about a little bit anyway. At the moment, I see no wrongdoing there at all. It's available, and if you can't afford the actual thing, then why not? But from my personal standpoint, it's very similar to you guys in that if it's creative, if you can still kind of put it together and have that enjoyment out of it, then why not? I bought a Mega Construct set the other day. I actually got sent a Mega Construct set, which is a little Pikachu. I did a very quick review. I'll just this one here. And the build itself is actually a very cool build, but the instructions were horrific. And the actual build process itself, I don't think anywhere you're ever going to get the level of ease. And I know a lot of people complain about certain things in Lego and certain things that are put together, but actually you're not going to get the sort of product testing that you're going to get at Lego anywhere else. And so for pure buildability and enjoyment of build, I would always choose Lego. But like you say, Jamie, if you haven't had a go, have a go, pick it up. If you don't like it, you don't like it. If you do, like you have with the steampunk sets that look incredible, then go with it. And I think looking at yours in particular, those sets are like perfect display sets, aren't they? Like they look amazing. And I think the non-Lego fan is going to look at that and think, oh, what an amazing display piece. No, I can't think of anyone in my life that would ever walk into my collection and see something like that and go, oh, well, that's not Lego.
Yeah, you would not know when you look at it.
No, exactly. And so if you're getting that enjoyment of build, you're being creative with it, then I don't see any issue with it. But a great question. Good discussion topic.
Yeah, good question.
Okay, our second question is from @Hi, my name is Mike. So, hi, Mike.
Good old Mike.
I've just reread this question again, and I did have a chuckle when I first read it, but we'll go for it. What is Jamie's hair care routine?
Shampoo. It depends where the hair is. So I shampoo and condition my beard on every 2 days, otherwise it gets a bit too dry. Then shave. Shave with soap, and I've got a little Philips one blade, so that's my hair care routine. Thanks, Mike, for that. Just rub it in.
There we go, Mike. Yeah. I hope you got the answer you wanted, Mike. Okay, and our third and final question from our friend Beth @AllTimeYashin, and this is an interesting one, and it might be a bit tricky to answer off the top of your head. What is your favourite quote from any franchise?
Oh, I know mine.
You know yours.
Quote from, So, Josh, do you want to go first?
Yes.
If you know yours.
Yeah, I think my favourite quote from any medium has to be from Star Wars. I mean, I am the Galaxy of Bricks after all. And it has to be that immortal quote from Yoda, which is always, do or do not, there is no try.
Do or do not, there is no try.
And I think that is a very good motto in life to have, regardless of what you do, regardless of what your beliefs are, regardless of where you see yourself. I think that's a really good quote to be inspired by.
Yeah, very much agree. Go on, Sam.
Nice.
What's yours?
I mean, mine's completely different. Mine is not inspirational, but it's just the one that I use more often than any other quote, I think. And it's mainly with one of my friends. And I will just say, ancestors protect me. And he will reply with, may they protect you.
Ancestors protect me. May they protect you.
And it's from Hot Rod. If you've ever seen Hot Rod before, it's one of the most ridiculous films.
Yeah.
One of the most ridiculous films of all time, but it's just what he does before he goes out to like do any stunts. And so I don't even have to be in a conversation with my friend, but if I'm like about to go out and do something, I'll just text him saying, "Ancestors protect me," and then he will reply, "May they protect you," and then off I go and do my thing. It's almost like a rite of passage now. It's so ridiculous and it means nothing, but it is definitely my most used quote from any film ever.
I love that. So mine is very apt for my current situation, moving to a new country, about to go travelling, trying social media, doing all this sort of stuff. And it's from our favourite J.R.R. Tolkien, and it's "Not all those that wander are lost." And
Nice.
It's just so true for me at the moment, because it's like, I don't have a plan at the moment. I'm just trying lots of new things, wandering around new countries, but it doesn't mean that I don't have a purpose at the moment. I'm building memories, I'm building skills, knowledge, hopefully inspiring people. So just because I'm not lost, I'm just not quite found myself yet. But by wandering through and trying all these new things, yeah, I'm not lost. I'm just not at my final destination. And I love that quote. And I remind myself of it almost every day. Just to be like, if I'm having a bit of a bad day, it's like, yeah, I'm not lost. I'm just wandering. So
Nice.
I mean, I'm not going to change mine because it's not inspirational. I use it more than any, but I would say, just as like a caveat to that, I'm trying to think of the exact quote now because I don't want to misquote Yoda, because there's nothing worse than misquoting Yoda. But Yoda talking to Luke in The Last Jedi, and he says, "We are what they grow beyond." And I always think of that when, as a teacher, that's kind of your purpose as a teacher, is to kind of make sure that these children go beyond what you've become and kind of achieve more and do more. So that if I'm thinking of a quote that I think of to kind of inspire me, that's the one. But yeah, I go with a ridiculous one every day.
It's a very fitting one, that one, Sam. I must admit, so that's kind of nice to kind of round it off.
Yeah, we'll leave it with that one.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have come on to the part of the show that everybody's been looking forward to, and I'm sure everyone watching is thinking, what is the draft going to be this week? And if you haven't guessed it, come on, get your thinking caps on, because these guys. The theme this week for our Lego draft is bold characters. How do you feel about this, guys?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's very tongue-in-cheek, this one, because obviously, as you guys know, who listen to this podcast on a regular basis, you know, the 3 or 4 people who listen to this very regularly, Sam and I, we discuss our ideas for the podcast like a week in advance, and we kind of plan how we're going to do things. And when I got the message on my WhatsApp about the topic and the structure of this episode, and then I scrolled down to the very bottom and I saw Lego draft, Jamie versus Josh, bold characters. I just went, I mean, fair enough, but I was also like, why did I not see this coming? I just, you know.
It's our trademark.
Yeah.
Bearded, glasses and balls.
Yeah, you know.
I was tempted to go beard and bold, but we left it at just bold for this week, and I did discuss this with Josh very quickly, that actually this was a bit of a cop out for me, because it meant that I didn't have the stress of failing at the draft. But I would, before we get into this, and I'll try and put a screenshot up of last week's results. We kind of put our drafts last week, which were kind of heroic characters outside of the main themes of Lego. We put it to the vote, and I'm very pleased to announce that I got 100% of the vote there. But
I demand a recount.
It was solely down, I think, to the inclusion of Raphael last week, which I did very well to get in there. But I would like to point out that Josh didn't vote for himself.
No.
Because he could have voted on it.
Yeah.
and he didn't.
That's a little bit. It's a little bit self-deprecating, though, isn't it? Voting for yourself. It's kind of like when you upload something to like Facebook.
I wasn't
TikTok,
above it, Josh.
Instagram.
I wasn't above it.
You know, so
I like my own posts all the time, Josh.
no,
At least you can vote.
I'm sorry. No, I'm not that. I don't want to be that guy. But now that I know that this podcast poll is rigged, I'm going to have to start voting for myself now.
Hey, there were plenty of other people that voted that did not vote for you, so don't worry about it.
Travesty.
Okay. So, as I've said, this week's Lego Draft is all about bold characters. Now, I don't know either of your picks. All I know is how many you have both picked. Josh has gone... He's gone out of fear and picked 16 characters. I think he's worried about what direction... I think Jamie's knowledge is so vast that... he could have kind of gone anywhere with this, and so Josh is kind of covering all bases here.
I've hopefully gone clever, so we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think that every week, Jamie. every single week I come into this draft thinking, oh yeah, I've got a winning team here. And actually what happens is Seamus from Just 15 Bricks goes, actually, and then shoots me down immediately. So.
Of course Seamus does.
So, right, we will get into it. I think, Josh, you'll have to concede that because Jamie is our special guest this week, that he will have to go first on the draft, if you're happy with that.
Absolutely. I was going to offer the floor to him first as the guest, and obviously he is going to go travelling, so we're not going to be hearing from him for a while. So I am more than happy to let Jamie take the floor and have the pressure of first pick in this draft. So the floor is yours, sir.
Okay, so pick number 1 is the classic Darth Vader.
Nice.
Josh, did Darth Vader as a bold character occur to you at any point?
He did, but again, I thought Jamie would pick a Star Wars character, just not early on, so that's kind of thrown me off kilter a little bit.
Very nice.
Okay.
Talking of, actually, I mean, I will probably cut this from the video, but is he going to focus? No, he's not focusing. There he is.
Ah, yeah.
There he is. Right, there he is.
That is again from the bowl of characters that I found at my parents' house. He was there. Nice. So yeah, bold Darth Vader, great first choice. So Josh, now that you know Jamie's already won the draft, how are you feeling?
I mean, it's a case of do I respond with somebody equally as powerful as Darth Vader, or do I reply with something that I feel could take Darth Vader on and match him pound for pound? So only time will tell how this is going to pan out. Just
remember, this draft is all about coolness. It's the figures, isn't it? It's how cool is that minifig?
Absolutely.
So you go for it. You let us know.
Right. Well, in that case, then I am going to be picking Lex Luthor from the DC supervillains that came with DC supervillains. I think that is a fantastic minifigure. I love the look of it, and I mean, it's Lex Luthor. If you can go toe to toe with Superman, you definitely deserve to be a pick in a Lego draft as well. So
very nice, strong start. Back to you then, Jamie.
All right, I'm going Samukai from Ninjago. So Samukai is the skeleton with the 4 arms with the opposable jaw.
Nice.
Very nice. I don't know it. I'm just doing a very quick Google now of Samukai.
Like a little loincloth thing. It's a very cool fig.
Oh, yeah, very nice. That is a cool minifig. That's very different. Okay, on to your second then, Josh.
I am going to pick, for my second choice, I am going to be picking from set 70901, and that is Mr. Freeze.
Oh, nice. Mr. Freeze. He has gone DC. Very, very unlike you, Josh. We normally go down the Marvel route, so
see,
going different.
I've been practicing.
Okay, on to the third pick then, Jamie.
All right. Again, I'm going spooky. I'm going to go the Ghost from Monster Fighters.
Ooh, okay.
Jamie, we should have known that this was going to happen with Jamie on, that we were going to go all over the place.
Yeah.
Ghost.
So that's the one with the frowny face and the glow-in-the-dark cowl rather than the smiley face.
It almost looks like a minifig with a sheet over it, doesn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, nice. Classic. Awesome. Okay, Josh.
I mean, if we're going to be picking coolness, we're going to be picking characters that just ooze coolness, and I'm going to have to pick And I don't know how familiar you guys are with this one, but I'm going to be picking 71024, and that is Jack Skellington.
Oh,
nice.
good
Okay.
shout.
Nice.
Good
I think that might be a popular one, but great shout.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, back to you then, Jamie. 2 left.
Yeah, I'm trying to think which one to keep at the end. So 4, I'm going Gollum from Lord of the Rings.
Nice. Okay.
Now we did a Lord of the Rings one a couple of weeks ago, and I think Gollum was on reserve list. Didn't quite make the top 5, but a very strong choice. I think he was considered by all. I think it's a very strong looking 4 so far, Josh. So how are you going to match it?
I mean, if you're going to go for something, if you're going to go for monsters, if you're going to go for ninjas, and you're going to go for obviously a former ring bearer from Lord of the Rings, you're going to have to respond in kind. So I am picking the only figure that has the only minifigure that has appeared in one set at time of recording, and that is going to be Blade from the Daily Bugle.
Oh, nice. I knew
Blade's in the Daily
Yes, he is.
Oh, I didn't know he was in it. I knew you got Punisher, but I didn't know
Blade's in it as well, yeah.
they have gone all over the place on Daily Bugle, haven't they? They've kind of picked all over Marvel. Very nice. Yeah, Blade is a strong one, Josh. It's a good choice. I knew there would be Marvel in there somewhere.
Hey, I said I wasn't messing around this week, and I said if I was going down, I was going to take Jamie with me. So again, I'm going all out.
Okay, so Jamie, we're on to the last one.
So I'm going to finish strong, hopefully, with one of my favourite minifigures from Marvel. I'm going Ghost Rider.
Okay,
Nice.
okay.
That's got Josh worried. We talked about Ghost Rider a couple of weeks ago. Actually, there's a new mech coming next year, I think. And we were discussing how cool the minifigure was going to be because of how cool other Ghost Rider minifigures have been. So
I'm going the OG one that came with Spider-Man and Hobgoblin, not the one with the metal face. So the original Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider.
Awesome. Strong 5 there. Right, Josh, give us your final one and then we'll go through the teams.
Okay, so I am also going to be finishing off with Marvel as well. And I mean, you look at Marvel, you look at some of the characters that are within that theme, but I am going to be picking, again, another character that, as far as I know, has only appeared in one set, and that is from set 76194. That is The Watcher from the Marvel What If Sicarian, Tony Stark Sicarian mech.
Nice. That is a very interesting one. Okay, those are some pretty eclectic teams, I think. There,
a lot of supernatural going on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not the route that I was kind of thinking. My thoughts immediately went to hairless, and I don't know why, but it just got stuck in my head that Gungans had no hair.
Yeah.
You could have Jabba. You could have, Jabba, you could Jar Jar.
Well,
Yeah.
There was the thing was as well, like I said, maybe like Venom as well, because Venom doesn't have any hair, Carnage doesn't have any hair, and I even, because obviously like, I had 16 to pick from, and I was basing my picks around what Jamie had gone for. I mean, on my reserve list there was Thanos, because there's like different versions of Thanos. I also had Nizam from Prince of Persia as well. So
would you have accepted Shakespeare?
I mean, Sam, would you have accepted Shakespeare?
Yeah, I think so. I think if majority bold, I think counts.
Yeah, it's got the hair on the side.
It's just,
there.
Yeah.
So I left him out just in case. I went full chrome dome just in case.
Fair.
Nice. Okay, so for those listening, final team. So we'll go through Jamie's team first. Started off with a classic Darth Vader, then Samukai, the Ghost from Monster Fighters, Gollum, and Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider. I think that's a very, very strong team. And then going over to Josh, started off with a couple of DC characters. We had Lex Luthor and Mr. Freeze, followed by Jack Skellington, then Blade, and finally the Watcher. So I think
Jack might have won that one. Jack's a cool.
Looking through them, I think Jack Skellington may have a little fan base going on there that you may pick up some votes, Josh. But I do think they're both very strong overall teams. But again, we'll have to let the audience decide, and we'll we'll let Jamie know when we record next week who the winner was overall. But that rounds us off this week, guys. I think we've done quite well to only stick to. I've just looked at the time. It's only an hour and a half.
Yeah.
We've done quite well.
One thing I will notice, though, looking back at the draft as well, is neither of us picked Voldemort as a character as well, actually. He was one person that neither of us had picked.
It was a bit of a boring figure.
Yeah, that's what I mean, but I thought he'd been a safe bet.
I was just about to say.
So, yeah, I'm happy with that.
Not much, yeah. So, Jamie, I hope you've enjoyed coming and joining us and chatting Lego. I think we will definitely need to get you back on again to maybe have some more in-depth teacher discussions and more Lego discussions.
No, thank you so much for having me, guys. We could do a whole education one, which Josh, I know. Sorry, we were kind of waffling on earlier.
It's fine. I was just happy to listen and just hear like insightful things from two teachers. So, like for me, it's fine. Every day's a school day.
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah. No, we've loved having you on genuinely for a large part of this. I think Josh, as Josh just said, just sat interested listening to what you have to say. I think the kind of journey that you've been on, the job that you have been doing, and sort of your outlook on education for me, but outlook on how Lego can improve that, I think is really, really interesting and exciting. I hopefully for the next generation, if we can get a few more teachers on board with that way of thinking, then we could have a lot more creative people on our hands, which will be amazing. So we'll leave it there. Jamie, do you want to let everybody know where they can find you, or not find you, maybe find your community in the coming weeks?
Absolutely. So it's the Brick Educator and everything. I keep it simple. So YouTube, Instagram. So YouTube's my longer form content. Instagram's mainly photos, and then TikTok is my main platform. And then I do have a podcast as well. I've not done a new episode for a while, but if you were interested, you can type in the Brick Educator on Spotify, Google Podcasts, and Apple Podcasts, and you can find lots of interviews that I've done with educators, with teachers, with people that work in museums and theme parks, all about how they encourage learning through play. And there's a few episodes on there now. Last one I did, I think it was at the start of the year, unfortunately. But yeah, if you're interested to hear more about other people's journey with learning and education and hands-on experiences, you can check out the podcast as well.
Fantastic. I did not know that, so I'm looking forward to delving into that as well. Amazing. Yeah, absolutely. And Josh, where can everybody find you?
Again, you can find me, same name, The Galaxy of Bricks, on my usual haunts and all my usual places. So that's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Just type in The Galaxy of Bricks. You'll find me, my content there. My inbox is always open if you have any comments, questions or queries. So go for it.
Awesome. And for myself, you can find me at Bite-Sized Bricks everywhere, and also the Fandom Bricks podcast. So you can find us on TikTok now. We have posted a couple of things. We're getting there on TikTok, but we are on TikTok, on YouTube, obviously, but wherever you listen to your podcasts, so Google, Apple, Amazon, Spotify, so wherever you want to listen to a podcast, go for it and just let us know what you think. We're still in that kind of phase of honing down our skills and getting to grips with it. So we are very much open to kind of constructive criticism, I'll call it. But thank you very much again, Jamie. We've loved having you on, and thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you next week.
The Fandom Bricks Podcast.